tonight. President Tinubu reiterates commitment to use science, technology, innovation for Nigeria's development. Former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo advocates quality leadership devoid of political differences for Africa. Good evening. You are welcome to NTA Ijebode News at 7. I am Titi Layoke. Thanks for staying to with us. Now the news in details. President Bola Tinubu says his administration will remain committed to the development and application of science, technology, and innovation in the quest to ensure greater overall development of Nigeria. The president made a commitment at his investiture as the Grand Patron of Science by the Nigerian Academy of Science at the State House. State House correspondent Musbadan Wahab reports.
The champion of the 8-point agenda, currently targeting an all-round development for Nigeria. But in his ideal mix, he certainly needs more than his experiences as an astute accountant and administrator to drive the agenda. In this age and time, the economic development must be knowledge-driven with application of science, technology, and innovation pivotal. Here are the leaders of the League of Nigeria's former scientists, Nigerian Academy of Science, not just to promise support for the administration, but equally to make the leader also the man in front for their revered association. Now, not just as the president, but also as the grand patron of science, President Tinubu would demonstrate his clear understanding of the place of science, technology, and innovation in his development agenda.
I believe without great research and development, no nation can develop to achieve its desire. Pay attention to science and development is a commitment that I will continue to support directly and through various government policies and programs.
Though the commitment of the government needs to come in more ways than one, funding is central.
Through our Ministry of Science and Technology, health, education, and related ministries will be mobilized and supported, and funding for science and development. I am fully committed, and I work by the
Nigeria, currently with some challenges hindering its growth, but this body of scientists is presenting itself as a partner for the country's development.
The Nigerian Academy of Science has the intellectual capacity to support this transformation. For national problems to be conclusively addressed, there is a need for healthy collaboration between researchers, government, industry, and community in a quadruple helix arrangement. This way, there will be effective research translation, that is, the movement of research output from the laboratories and workshops to inform policy and practice.
Currently, with about 280 fellows across science disciplines, the Nigerian Academy of Science, established in 1977, acts as a scientific advisor to the federal government. From the State House, Musbadan Wahab, NTA News.
As a way of eradicating poverty, former President Olusegun Obasanjo is advocating quality leadership that is devoid of political differences in Africa and by extension other countries of the world. The former president was speaking at a public lecture to mark his 87th birthday in Abeokuta, Ogun State. Hakim Jimo reports.
The 87th birthday celebration of former President Olusegun Obasanjo was a gathering of former and serving presidents from across the world, as well as former and serving governors in Nigeria who brainstormed on the need for quality leadership in Africa and the world at large. Speaking on the theme, quality leadership, and inclusive democracy as catalyst for development in a strife-ridden world. A cross-section of former and serving world leaders, including former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan and others who spoke via live streaming, urged leaders to positively impact the lives of their citizens, acknowledging that former President Olusegun Obasanjo is an exemplary leader.
A leader must make sure that in whatever he does, in terms of his utterances, in terms of his speeches, in terms of his body language, should be a catalyst that will accelerate the development, a catalyst that will bring peace, a catalyst that will unite the people.
Former President Obasanjo and Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun acknowledged that the heart of leadership requires steadfastness, transparency, and accountability.
When we are able to have democracy that is African in content and in practice, the sort of thing that happened in Plateau State recently will not happen.
A detribalized Nigeria, a Pan-African, a leading voice in his quest for political emancipation, good governance, anti-corruption, and social justice.
Former President of Ghana, John Mahama, Bayelsa State Governor, Doye Diri, and former Osun State Governor, Olagunsoye Oyinlola, were among other dignitaries at the occasion. In Abeokuta, Akim Jimo, NTA News.
Nigerians are on the verge of grabbing juicy positions in multinational companies domiciled in the country if the newly launched expatriate employment levies of the federal government is implemented. Akim Jimo will sample the opinion of some residents of Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, reports that the respondents commend the initiative. The reports.
The federal government's introduction of the expatriate employment levy, which was launched on Tuesday, 27 February 2024, has continued to dominate public discussions, attracting commendation for the federal government.
That policy is a very great policy that will have multiplier effect, and then we streamline the people who are coming to commit illegality.
The policy, financial experts in Ogun State acknowledge, is a game changer, capable of turning around the fortunes of the country, especially in the areas of employment generation for Nigerians in juicy multinational companies and boosting the revenue base of the country.
To encourage foreign entities to recruit Nigerians and have succession plan.
While those expatriates are here, some Nigerians will be working with them. They are understudy, they are doing apprenticeship.
That the money comes into the cover of government, government will now, plow it back into our economy and ensure that we have good roads, ensure that we have good water around.
In as much as residents are optimistic that the policy will boost the economy of Nigeria, they however express their reservation over the mode and method of implementation.
Some of our people, they will take advantage and begin to visit this organization. We want to count you. These are issues and conflict between agencies of government.
The policy is not without some shortcomings.
It's going to affect foreign direct investment in a way, because that's a lot when you translate to Naira.
They may be deterred from investing in the economy.
The respondents appealed to stakeholders, including state governments and other agencies in charge of its implementation, to support the federal government for the success of the program. In Abeokuta, Akim Jimo, NTA News.
One way to grow Nigeria's industrial capacity and tackle the challenge of unemployment is ensuring self-sufficiency in power supply. This was promoted by lawmakers during Thursday plenary when Senator Ned Nwoko raised a motion in relation to supply of electricity by an independent power plant to its host community in Delta State. Lawmakers therefore want the federal government to review Nigeria's power policy, including the privatization of the senator. The reports.
The view was adopted by lawmakers during Thursday's plenary when Senator Ned Nwoko raised a motion in relation to supply of electricity by an independent power plant to its host community in Delta State. The lawmakers want the federal government to review the power policy and the privatization of the sector for efficiency.
Whatever conversation that will bring about efficiency, adequacy in electricity for our country, because we can't move an inch to industrialization if we don't have that. It's something that we should continue to debate until we get it right there.
the entire privatization that was done, who is hardly what, because if you go into the details, Mr. President, you will find that in the name of private sector injection or participation in this system, public funds have actually been used to bail out private people, and the country is still in the dark.
I don't want to say that there's something wrong with our system, but I think it was also because of this same thing, privatization. So we seem to take a step forward and 2 steps backwards. We take a step forward and 2 steps backwards in the country. So I don't see why, when other countries were using nuclear to even get to give power to their people, they will say, don't touch nuclear, so that you remain. Now they are from energy. They develop themselves, they've already industrial, but they told you not. So
in view of the current epileptic power supply, Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu is appealing to electricity consumers to be patient as federal government and industry players are working tirelessly to address challenges and deliver better services to all customers. The report.
In a message through his X handle, the Power Minister expressed concern over the deteriorating electricity supply despite increase in generation, but says steps are being taken to improve supply. Warning distribution companies over loaded rejection and willful non-performance, he says his recent meetings with the chief executives of the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, and the managing director of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, are part of engagement to finding lasting solutions, as the TCN has been tasked to prioritize repair works on damaged transmission and power lines. On debts owed generation companies and gas suppliers, the Power Minister says plans are underway to settle them, while issues of vandalization recently witnessed in Abuja, Benin, Port Harcourt and Ibadan are being tackled.
The House of Representatives Committee on Pensions has pledged to surpass the National Pension Commission in line with the Pencom Reform Act 2014 to provide effective and efficient service delivery for the Nigerians. During an oversight visit to the Commission, lawmakers promised to facilitate prompt payment to retirees' entitlements. National Assembly correspondent Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
Years into reforms in the pension of Nigeria, many feats have been achieved, some challenges identified.
It thanks chairman and members to note that eager for this to be loaned, or because there are so many stories going borrowed the money, nobody ever bought the money because there is no provision for that. The pension industry is not a bank, so it cannot loan the money. Nobody can. It's not possible. It has never happened before.
Commenting further, members of the committee stressed the need for Pencom to checkmate alleged dubious activities of some of the pension funds administrators, improve on services reform for the benefit of Nigerians.
If there are any challenges or improvements, for instance, yes, we want to put it so that
has improved in the ratio of pension and the rest. We believe that there is room for improvement. That's why we're here so together to see the assembly particular that to improve pension.
It's expected to be for amendment of the pension 2014. Ahmed Rabiu Ali, NTN.
We'll be back shortly after the break. Don't go away.
It has certainly come again. Yes, it has. On our program, Faces and Events. Join us this Saturday, 9th of March by 7:30 p.m. as we convey to your viewing pleasure the funeral service of our grandfather, who was also the General Overseer of Christ Redemption Evangelical Ministry, Pastor Olufunmilayo Odutola. You can watch us on our TV channel 103, free on StarTimes, or follow us on our Facebook page or on YouTube. NTA Jebu Ode, remain blessed.
More than 260,000 candidates wrote 2024 UTME mock examination organized by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB. The examination took place in 793 centers across the country. Olayinka Ojo reports.
This UTME mock exercise is a test aimed at preparing these candidates for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination proper. It was a history exercise at this center in Buari, where the candidates had 2 hours to convince the examiner.
Yesterday, we conducted the recruitment for the Police Service Commission throughout the country. That was a mock before today's mock. And we have about 3 or 4 places where there are one each of the other.
Although a total of 1.98 million candidates registered for the UTME, the mock examination, according to the registrar, also afforded the board the opportunity to test run some of its recent innovation.
We don't want to turn our mock to another exam, so that's why we didn't allow more than that number to register for the mock exam, which was just to test our system.
The results of the examination are expected to be released within 24 hours. Online NTA News.
Now let's go to sports updates from our decks.
Plans to unify all factions of football supporters clubs in Nigeria under an umbrella body that will be directly affiliated to the Nigeria Football Federation are now in top gear. At a stakeholders meeting in Abuja to further the cause, founder and president of the Super Eagles Supporters Club, Vincent Okumagba, insisted that the need to stop the proliferation of supporters clubs has become necessary.
This morning, I've seen United Nigerian Football Supporters, co-founder NFF, and the 5 supporters don't recognize. Like I said, I was joining. I was also as the representative of the Super Eagles Supporters Club. Ultimately, we have an election. That election is being done with the supervision of NFF, the Ministry of Sports, and the National Assembly's representative.
Meanwhile, British-Nigerian heavyweight boxer Anthony Joshua says it would be wrong of him to underestimate Francis Ngannou. Joshua and Ngannou take to the ring on Friday night in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, after 2-time world champion believes his Cameroonian French opponent will be buoyed by his performance in his last fight against Tyson Fury.
We revealed, isn't it? The straight-out war, relentlessness, good fight. And that's what everyone's here for, good fight. So yeah, I tell you, your only chance is in the ring, in the boxing ring with the boxing rules. When you step off or that ring, you better stay 5 meters away before you start your because if I lose it, you're gonna have a really bad time, my friend.
To tennis, and the Murray pushed aside talks of retirement as he demonstrated his serving prowess to defeat David Goffin 6-3, 6-2 in the opening round at Indian Wells. Angelique Kerber also showcased her serving skills with a 6-3, 6-4 win over Petra Martic in the women's singles. With sports updates, Bade Adeleye, NTA News.
And that ends the news for tonight. Until we come your way next time, I remain Oketitlaya. Thanks for watching. Good night.